Aye.
All right. Hello there, Mike. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you well.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, and thank you for taking the time to join us. We're to questions here from the media for you. So we will kick things off with Stephen Toronto. Go ahead.
Mike, that decision at the end to come to pit road and take tires, the 98 truck had been able to make its way through the field on fresh rubber, but historically it hadn't seemed like new tires had made that much of a difference at Phoenix. What went into the decision to take tires, and were you surprised at all at how effective they were on that overtime restart?
Well, not really surprised because, there's so many laps on them, and so, that's the beauty thing about Phoenix. I mean, it's so wide there and you can get going. So, in our competition, we talked a little bit. I'm not saying that everybody agreed that if it come down to it, we'd split the decision if we had to make sure one of them won. But I don't know at the end if it really worked out like that. But, Sheldon and Zanian, they really didn't have anything to lose. So I wasn't really surprised. I was surprised they got up through there. But you're Phoenix, and I got to rewatch it because I was watching Brett and Grant on the front row, and it's like, how did that just happen? Because I was up in the suite and I saw him come down the backstretch, and I went, dang, that's Sheldon. Where'd he come from? So, it didn't really surprise me.
All right. And we are also joined here by Maura Gallagher. Congratulations, and thank you for taking the time to join us. We will continue to take questions for the two of you, and we will kick it off again with Bob Pockris. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, for Mike, where do you feel that Sheldon has improved the most this year?
Well, Sheldon's worked so hard, for sure. Well, all of them have worked really hard. I feel like that Sheldon, Josh Wise has helped Sheldon immensely, and he's just learned how to race, and his car control is amazing. So he's improved in every aspect of driving, pit road, just everything. So, and him and Jeff working another season together. It's like I told him, Sheldon and Jeff, Sheldon, he's messed up enough stuff over the last year and a half that he did learn. So, he's just become a student of the sport because through our driver's age development program, you are a student of it, and we teach you, and it's ever how hard you want to work, and he's worked hard at it. So, because he knows he wants to get cup racing, and those cup guys, they're students of the sports, Chase and those guys. So he's really worked hard.
Where does Wise have the biggest impact? I mean, is it conditioning or is it mental ability or what?
Who's that?
Where does Josh Wise, what's his impact?
Bob, it's everything. I mean, he works on conditioning, but he works on just the mental part too, from pit road entrance, and just, he gets them, really works on situation awareness. This could happen. And they're very schooled by the time they take the green flag, especially now with no practice. And I think that's where we've benefited GMS this year with Chevrolet support and all the tools they've gave us. But Josh, he just, being a past driver, he knows the mistakes that can be made, and we make sure we limit our mistakes. And we've made quite a few this year, but that's where Josh, he's just helped these young guys.
All right, and we are going to take our next question from Sterling Price, and then we'll take the next one from Marty Zakala. Go ahead.
Thank you. This question is for both Mike and Maury. What can you say about the sheer dominance of the team this year across the board from all four trucks, putting 3 trucks in the championship 4 and building a big powerhouse team over the years in trucks?
Well, it's taken us 5 years to get here. And definitely, we've gone through people to get to this point. Our crew chiefs get along so well. And I say my job's easy because Maury, the financial commitment he's made, and to be able to help us build winning program like we have, but we couldn't do it without GM support and the partners we do have. But it's taken us a while to get here. But the crew chiefs, they get along well, and they work hard. The engineers and everyone at GMS, I mean, our fab shop is second to none. So it's just been a lot of work. You know, Tom Ackman, of course, our technical director, he is relentless. I mean, he just keeps working, trying to make it better. And just we really focus on having not any weaknesses. And, you know, plus we've worked on our strengths. And, you know, I feel like that this year we've been able to capitalize on all that.
Well, let me just comment that the winning environment starts at the top. It's what we call in business the tone at the top. And Mike joined us 6 years now, actually, November of 14. And we're not even, I wouldn't even call us mediocre at that point. And one of the great stories that when I was introduced to Mike was that one of the gentlemen, Harold Holly, that introduced me, he paused in the middle of that and says, "Mike is really intense. You know, are you sure you want to do that?" And I said, "You just named my tune. This is professional sports. Intensity is important, but it's all the metrics that Mike just talked about. And I'm in business, and tone at the top, leadership, and no mistakes. It takes everything. You just don't luck into this sport. They this year have had the best speed of everybody. I think it's been evident week to week, and that's attention to detail. I think the other thing is that, and I've heard the stories. I'm not that fluent in it, but these folks, many teams don't talk to each other. They got 4 teams under a roof, and there's kind of 4 separate independent silos. That information needs to be shared, in our opinion, and everybody gets the good stuff. And so you saw it. I mean, it's not just one truck that dominated. It was all 3 or 4 from the 24 truck for a couple of races. No, I couldn't be prouder of what Mike's done and the team. And like he said, it's taken a couple, 3 years to get there, but it's fun to watch, and it's been rewarding to a fault.
Thanks, gentlemen. Congrats on the championship.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I believe I have the next one, right, Marissa?
Yep, go ahead, Marty.
All right, thank you very much. This one's for Maury. Mr. Gallagher, first off, congratulations to both of you on the championship. Mr. Gallagher, you guys, this is your first Owners' Championship ever in the Truck Series. I know Sauter won the driver's title in 16, but the Owners' title went to KBM under the old regulations. What does it mean for you to finally receive an Owners' title in that era?
You know, it's the winning of the championship for the competitive side is certainly number one. But going up against Kyle Busch every year for the last 4, 5, 6 years, even this year, one of the great highlights was our ability to beat him in the shoot-off when Chase was able to beat him in Charlotte. But you know, it's just great. I mean, you come into this business, you do professional sports for winning, and it's the ultimate reason, the ultimate narcotic, if you want to say it that way. And I couldn't be happier and more proud of the team, all the guys back at the shop, GMS. As Mike said, it's everybody doing their job, and it pays off in spades. And what you saw last few months, and particularly tonight, it's good, very good.
And I'm curious from your perspective. I don't know if you've happened to hear what Brett Moffitt said post-race, but it seemed like he was really frustrated with his team and not happy at all. What do you take from your perspective on what he said? Because it seemed like from my perspective, he may have called out his team.
I didn't hear what Brett said. You know, anybody in that position is going to be upset and angry. And, you know, I'm sure in the heat of the battle, he didn't mean anything that was that, because that team has performed all year. Brett arguably was the most consistent driver the entire year in many ways. But, you know, Brett's a good guy. We really have enjoyed having Brett around. And, you know, I'll go look at the film, and if need be, we'll chat it out. But, you know, Brett's a competitor.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Congratulations once again. Marissa, I do have a question for Spencer when he gets here.
And he actually, we just got word, is not going to be joining us because he is in victory lane with his team. I apologize for that.
No worries. It's all good.
But we will take our next question. Ashley McCubbin, go ahead.
For both of you, we saw the strength of the team this season and how well you performed, but what do you feel that you need to grow upon to be even stronger and be an even bigger force, if possible, in 2021?
Well, you know, we'll go back and we break down every race in from Daytona clear to Phoenix. You know, I keep a sheet on, you know, this is what we did well, this is what we need to work on, and you know, then we'll just go to work on it. I mean, you know, the thing that you have to be careful of, I feel like right now we're, you know, in a pretty good place on certain areas, but you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, I just don't know yet, because we worked so hard to get to here tonight that you know, I don't know. I mean, there's execution of the team, some of the mistakes we've made, but you know, it's kind of, you know, we've lost a couple races, but it come down to the end there, and you know, when you're dominant like that, people's going to do opposite of what you do and stuff like that. So, you know, the guys communicate well, and I couldn't be happier with everyone, but you know, we'll just keep doing what we're doing and make sure we do that and not outthink it and, you know, try to get too smart about it. We keep it pretty simple, really. I'm too old.
I think the thing Mike's underselling, if you take the average age of our 4 drivers, leave Brett out of it as an old man at 26, 27, whatever he is, 28. The average age between Sam Mayer and Zane Smith Sheldon is 17 to 22. Do the math. What is it, 19? You know, Tyler's 19. And I don't know that any team in the last 5 years, that the time I've been around, say Kyle had a couple of years with William and the like, and he had one driver a year that would really stand out. Mike had 3, 4 drivers this year, youngsters that all stood out, and that's a difference maker. It's one thing to have speed, but if you don't know what to do with it and you can't bring it home, that's the big deal. And I couldn't be happier for the way, you know, we've evolved our ability to make these young drivers into really good drivers. As I've told them many times, you don't win the race on lap 10, you can sure lose it though. And so how do you bring it home? And then when you see the move Sheldon made, that's the natural talent and Zane was right behind him, my mind ad. That's what Brett did a couple of years ago on 18 on that restart. He just got underneath, and it's shorter around that curve, you know, in 1 and 2, and you pop out the front. So they knew their business. They had, as Mike said, incredible truck control. Those two guys, you know, all of them, Tyler, Sam went to Bristol and won as a 17-year-old, and he dominated. Mm-hmm. So those are, to me, a real difference maker that separated us from the crowd this year.
And also, as we look towards next season, when can we expect you guys to finalize the driver lineup?
Hopefully here in the next 2 weeks. You know, just we worked on it and we got most of it done, and then it comes to a point where you just got to quit working on it and just focus on what's ahead. And yeah, we really focused on getting Zane in there at Martinsville, you know, and of course tonight. I mean, we've been working on, was hoping at least get one. You know, when Moffitt won Kansas and Sheldon, we thought maybe he could point his way in. Yeah, we just pretty much stopped a lot of that stuff just for, you know, we had a lot of performance meetings, technical meetings and stuff to just make sure we dotted our I's and crossed the T's. So hopefully here in about a week or so, you know, we're going to, hopefully next 2 weeks we should be finished with it.
Perfect. Thank you. And congratulations once again to both of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take our next question from Deb Williams. Go ahead, Deb.
Thank you. This is for Mike. Congratulations to both of you. Hey, Mike. You've been in this sport a long time. And with the knowledge.
You have too. So.
Yes, we have. With the knowledge that you have, and with everything that was thrown at you this year with COVID and everything, to get 3 teams into the Final Four, how did your experience in this sport benefit you through this?
Well, you know, I've done it for a long time. I've had hardships, you know, and you get through it, and, you know, you try, there's a fine line right there, you know, between your personal feelings and your professional feelings. And so basically that's what we did. We just kind of made sure our number one priority was to keep everybody safe, and, you know, worried about the drivers getting COVID, you know, and stuff like that, right? And the teams. I mean, we did have some, but, you know, it was very mild, but, you know, not with the drivers, but with some of the team members. And so, honestly, we've worked on this stuff for months, but, you know, the shop, we worked in shifts and people would work 6 in the morning to 1. And then, you know, those guys worked at, you know, 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I mean, you know, this past weekend, we didn't have power, you know, and Saturday and Sunday after Martinsville, they were in there pulling down and setting up. They had generators and lights, and it was a wreck, but those guys just kept working. I don't know what the word. I can't tell you how hard these guys worked. I mean, it was good to see. These guys worked harder this year than I've ever seen people work, and they wanted it so bad, and just you could tell in the shop, but people were so focused. And but my message to everybody is, you know, I've been there before. You just got to keep it simple. You got to do what got us here, and we can't outthink it. And so I feel like that my experience paid off there.
Thank you. Again, congratulations.
Thanks, Deb. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you.
All right. Well, Mike and Mari, we're going to let you both go and go celebrate with your teams. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank
Congratulations, and have a great off season.
Happy holidays. Thank you, man.
Thank you. All righty. Into the media, we are going to be joined by our championship winning crew chief here. Let me get him spotlighted. Hey, Jeff, can you hear me okay?
Okay, Marissa, I can take over now.
Okay, we can't hear him, just so you're aware.
Try that again, Jeff.
Can you hear me now? 1, 2, 3.
Just barely. Might need to turn it up a little bit.
Now, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, that's better. All right, I'll use them. Guys.
Okay. All right, we are now joined by our Gander Truck Championship crew chief, Jeff Stankiewicz, and very special. This is our first media center interview since March. Very special one. So we'll do this a little bit different. So if you're in the deadline room, have a question, please raise your hand and use that mic in the back, the stand-up mic there. If you're in the press box or working remote, please use the raise your hand tool in Zoom like you have for the past few months. Jeff, you want to just kick us off with some opening comments, winning the championship on that final overtime restart. Outstanding job by you and your team.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we struggled all day being just too loose. At one point, we were tight in the middle, loose off. And then I felt like we made some pretty big swings at it there, that second segment, but it just wasn't enough. He was too free. Brett was definitely better than us at that point. And then as we went on, it was just looser and looser. And I was kind of, at that point, with probably 10 to go, I thought, man, this thing's over for us. And at that point, even if the caution came out when it did, I didn't know that we could get back to where we were. But when it did come out, it was just we had no choice. You know, we came in and put our 4 on. Luckily, I'd say 80% of the guys behind us came with us. So that was good. That helped us get that buffer. We had fallen off about 1.5 seconds over the course of that run. So I felt like tires were going to be better. I just didn't know if there was enough time to do it. And, you know, when it comes to restarts, I wouldn't want anybody other than Sheldon Creed driving that thing because he gets after it. He's the maniac on restarts. He gets everything he can. We've actually won a couple of our races this year because of his restarts. So to see that caution come out was a relief for us. We came in, put tires on it, pumped the air pressure up, didn't put any gas in it, tightened it up some more for him, and I knew we were back in the game at that point. So it was a nerve-wracking last 2 laps for sure. It was a nerve-wracking race for us all in general, just having to race our teammates like we did early in the race and not being that great. But yeah, when it came out, and then I knew we had a chance, and that's all we could do at that point was give him a fighting chance, and I knew he could do it. I had all the confidence in the world he could do it.
Okay, we'll open up with questions, and we'll start with Bob here in the media center.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. Jeff, how different of a driver is Sheldon between when he won the ARCA championship and today?
Yeah, he's definitely a lot more focused. When we first started working together in ARCA, he was fast. He was had a lot of speed, bouncing off walls. We sit on several poles that year and leading races, had huge leads, and he just run it into the wall and it'd take us out of the race. And it took a while for him to understand what he needed to do to go win an ARCA championship. And then so in 2018, he got focused and he understood what he needed to do, and he did it. And I think we ran 20 races that year and finished in the top 5 18 times. So that was a big accomplishment for him to do that. And then to come back to go truck racing the next year, I think he was overly confident, and he didn't quite understand that the Truck Series is a whole different ballgame than the ARCA Series when it comes to the competition and the drivers. I think it took him a while to realize that even though he is really good on restarts, nobody's going to give him anything, and they're going to ride on his quarter panel, they're going to block, they're going to move, and it's probably some of the hardest racing on a restart. And so I think he tried to overcompensate for that a lot, and that's what got him in a lot of bad positions last year. But so last year, he had to go through a huge learning curve. He had to still finish races. We did make some mistakes and wreck some trucks and stuff like that. But over this offseason now, with him working with Josh Wise, Josh has been an amazing help to Sheldon, and he's getting more and more better with his racecraft through Josh. Just everything he does as far as his physical and his mental aspect of the sport and what he has to do. So as he gets older, he's getting more mature. I see that just away from the racetrack, and he understands what it takes, and he knows that there's people watching him right now, and he's focused, and he's trying to do the best he can. And like I said, I wouldn't want anybody else driving this truck right now. He is on his game since he got his first win earlier this year. He's been tough to beat, and he's mentally focused, and he's not laying down. He still works out every week. He goes meets with Josh, but yeah, it's a complete opposite Sheldon Creed from when I first started working with him. He's always had the speed, but it was just taming the speed and getting him to understand what he has to do to finish these things, and he's doing a great job right now.
Alex?
Hi, Alex Andreev with the Charlotte Observer. And kind of off of that, I mean, how decisive was that final call to pit? And did Sheldon initiate that? Because he'd said he had some influence in
Yeah, well, when the caution came out, I knew we were still in the top 3 or 4, and I knew, being he's so good on restarts, that if we had lined up on the bottom, I felt that he could go to the bottom on the apron and probably clear those guys and get the lead on a restart, but I didn't know if our truck was good enough to hold him off for 2 laps. So I just asked him, I said, hey, if you can get the lead here, are you able to hold him off or not? I said, I don't think you are, but I want to know what you think. And he says, I don't think I can do it. I'm just way too loose. So at that point, we just had no choice but to pit. We had nothing to lose at that point because we were not going to win the race where we were. So as soon as he said he didn't think he could hold him off, I said 4 tires. We pumped the air pressure up, didn't put any fuel in it, tried to give him the best restart he could to get going, make sure it was tight enough. We wound up putting the trap bar down. So at that point, I knew that when we all had a set of tires in the pits left, and I felt like half the field behind us would still come because at the same point they had nothing to lose. So there was going to be a not as big a buffer for the guys out front. And I felt like the guys out front too were going to probably get pretty aggressive with each other getting down the first corner. So once he said he didn't think he had the truck to hold him off, we had no choice but to pit.
Okay, we will go to Zoom now and kick it off with Ashley McCubbin. Go ahead, Ashley.
Looking at the season that you and Sheldon had together, what's the most memorable moment that stands out from the year for you?
Well, obviously this is going to be, but leading up to this, I would say probably winning that Daytona road course. We won Kentucky a few weeks earlier, do a rain shorted race, but we did have speed in that race, and we put ourselves in position to win that race when the rain came. But the Daytona road course was pretty special. The fact it was the first Daytona road course for us to run, and it kind of put us in a position there to. Now we've won on a 1.5 miles, we've won on a short track, and we've won on a road course. And so that makes it pretty special. We've been able to win on all these tracks, but that road course was pretty difficult for a lot of people. And for Sheldon, he never hesitated on it. From the first corner, he had speed. He knows what he's doing. It showed his patience. And really and truly just to know we beat Brett, our teammate, who is one of the best drivers in the series, and he just went out there and beat Brett. And Brett raced us clean. He had an opportunity to move us, but the fact he beat Brett, it wasn't any type of rain shortened race, and the fact it was the first road course race at Daytona for us was just made it very special.
Perfect. Thank you. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Marty Sakala. Go ahead, Marty.
Thank you. Marty Sakala with the Rock Sports Network. Jeff, congratulations on the championship. After the final pit stop, once we had the choose fee, when Sheldon Creed, I believe, restarted in either the 7th or 8th position, did you think that it was going to be enough for Sheldon to gain all those spots on that final restart?
I was replaying or thinking about a lot of things in my head, and he said, "What do you think we should do here?" And I said, "I think you need to take the bottom to open up the bottom lane," because I was afraid if he took the top, even if it was going to be the shorter lane for us, he was going to get trapped up top. But I felt like the way he is on the restarts, if he get a clear opening on the bottom, he can make some stuff happen. So yeah, I felt confident he could do it. I knew he could do it. I didn't know if it was enough time to do it. But, we fell off a second and a half on tires. So I knew it was going to be worth a lot, especially when Grant pitted earlier in the race. He only had about 7 laps on his tires, pitted, restarted 12th, and drove all the way back up to second. So I know clean air is important, but that showed us that tires was pretty important as well. So the fact we had so many laps on our tires, I felt like we had the truck to beat there. I just didn't know if we had enough time to do it. But he got out there and made it happen. And I wasn't expecting him to be that 4, 5, 6 wide on the bottom, whatever it was. I haven't even seen the replay of it yet, but I know he was down the bottom kicking up dust, and then I watched him go off into 4 one time, and the back end stepped out from under him, and he was still passing people. But yeah, I was confident we could do it. I just didn't know if we had enough time, but he made it happen.
You'll lose your mind watching that replay. Congratulations. Enjoy it.
Thanks a lot.
Looks like we have one more question, and that'll go to Stephen Toronto. Go ahead, Stephen.
And Jeff, on the subject of the tire call, the 98 had taken new tires a bit earlier in the event, and he had managed to make his way up through the field, but it had been more methodical over the course of a long run. Had you taken any note of what Enfinger's team had done, and did that influence your ultimate decision?
Yeah, it did. I mean, I would say even if he didn't do that, we were still going to take tires at that point because we really had no choice. But yes, we did. My engineer and myself were talking about it when he pitted. I didn't realize he pitted at first until I saw a replay on TV of them working on something. And then I saw he restarted around 12th or 10th, I think. And I actually got off the box and went to the computer and highlighted his car number on our timing and scoring so we could monitor to see how fast he made it. Because at that point, we were just looking at if the stage had got split to where the caution come out with roughly 30 laps to go, was it going to be worth taking tires, or was it better to keep the track position? And when we saw him get all the way up to 4th, 5th, and then he passed everybody and got up to 2nd, I was like, well, it's a no-brainer now. If the caution come out with 20 to go or 15 to go, I felt like we were going to pit regardless. And I feel like the whole field would have pitted at that point with that many laps left. But yes, we were monitoring what he did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that looks like we have all the questions for you, Jeff. Congratulations again. Thanks for your time, and enjoy the rest of the night and the off season.
Thanks.
Want to go through those doors? Sirius XM, I think. Quick note for the media, a couple Season-long awards are official. Not surprisingly, Zane Smith is the Sunoco Rookie of the Year, and Chevrolet is this year's Manufacturers Championship for the Gander Truck Series. Yes, Ford clinched the NASCAR Cup Series Manufacturers Champion after Martinsville. Xfinity is still outstanding.
I have to mute the room then. I have to mute the ceiling speakers real quick while he's asking. Will it feedback? Yeah, it'll feedback. I can do it. I can turn it down if I know you're going to ask a question. No, that's okay. Yeah, it's not a problem. That makes sense. The first race back already caused some problems. I can turn it down quick while you ask if you'd like to.
Win a race, get a cookie.
Oh, we got a rollie. Check this out.
All right, we are now joined by our Gander Trucks champion for 2020, and that's Sheldon Creed. Sheldon, I just watched the video again of those last two laps. Unbelievable. Maybe just take us through that.
Yeah, I was planning on running third for the championship. They were fourth in the race, and caution come out. Jeff and I talked about it a little bit on the radio, and figured we had nothing to lose. We're going to run fourth in the championship at worst, and we were already third. So wanted to pit and at least have a shot there. So 4 tires. I think we got 2 round down the track bar and no fuel. So we tightened it way up because I was extremely free and just had a plan to run the bottom and just try to pick out as many guys as I could. And was trying to watch where they were, was trying to watch the 18 because I was on the inside of him, and I was trying to clear him right away just because I didn't want to get free underneath him on exit. And was able to do that. And then I was kind of watching up the track a little bit, and I'm seeing the 51 just bonside his way in there and kind of checked him up. I need to watch the replay again and see all what happened, but it looks like the 51 just slid up the racetrack and kind of checked the whole lineup, checked the 98 up, and I was just able to get to the gas extremely fast and almost be even with them. And then, I just got clear off of 4 there and just had to put together a good lap.
All right. If you have questions for Sheldon, please raise your hand if you're in the deadline room, and or in Zoom, click the raise your hand button. If you have a question, you can walk back there. We'll go to him, then Bob, and then Zoom.
Cameron Richardson, the Lumberjack. The term asterisk has been thrown around a lot to sports champions in 2020. But I want to know from you how a champion should be defined in a year as different as this one.
I don't even know. That's big words for me. I just drive race cars on the weekends. So just incredible that we were able to do it. I had a lot of confidence coming into today, and man, I was just frustrated watching the 23 drive away from us. I was just so free, and we tightened it up every stop, but I don't know, just be free in, land tight, then I'd be free exit. And I was getting frustrated watching them drive away from us, and then I just kind of settled in there. I'm like, well, this is what we have, we have next year to try again. So to get a chance like that on a restart and execute, just incredible that we got it done.
Bob.
What was that word you used? Asterisk? Big word.
Like a star, like an asterisk is what he was saying.
Homeschooled.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. I'll try to keep my words simple. Can you explain what does Josh Wise do that makes you better? Like, I mean, I understand fitness and stuff, but is it more mental? Are you doing these like day-long fasts that we've heard other drivers doing? And how does that actually help you in this situation you were in tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we've done 3-day fasts, whatever, but that has nothing to do with driving. That's just on the physical side of things. I would say just watch video with them every week with our teammates, talk it over, watch a lot of cup stuff on what those guys do, and restarts, pit road, just focus on all the details with Josh and what he thinks, and just honestly talking and watching video for a couple hours during the week. I think that's helped a lot for me, and just absorbing information as it comes, and like learning something or watching something on the film and then going and trying and doing it in the race and just trying to perfect that. I think that's where Josh comes in, and then just motivation, confidence he gives all of us, and just Josh is great.
All right, we'll go to Zoom and we'll kick off with Strong Price. Go ahead, Strong.
Thank you. Sheldon, first of all, congratulations on this championship. One of the things that has been brought up a lot was how Josh Wise has positively helped your career. Another person who has been pretty key in that is Jeff Stankiewicz, your crew chief. You won an ARCA championship with him back in 2018. How has Jeff really helped your career over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's actually funny how me and Jeff's relationship started was at MDM, and he literally called me like the night before Chicagoland. We were racing ARCA car that I was racing part-time in 2017, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm your crew chief. I'll see you tomorrow." Like that's literally how we met over the phone, and we were terrible the first weekend, and then we almost won the next 3 weekends out, and I was just overly aggressive and had the fastest car there, just threw wins away like I did back in the day, or still do even. So yeah, Jeff's been great, and I don't know, we just hit it off. We trust each other. We work well together. We're really good on the racetrack together as crew chief and driver, and then we have a really good friendship outside the racetrack. So yeah, it's great with that. And I forgot the first part of your question with Josh.
That was just adding on how Josh Wise has positively helped your career. Enjoy the championship, Sheldon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Cole Cusimano. Go ahead, Cole.
Congrats, Sheldon. Sorry if you can't hear me.
I'll just pull that thing down to you. There you go.
Thanks. Your pit crew has been lights out all season. We saw that again on display tonight. What do you have to say about their efforts all season, and do you feel they helped aid in this championship?
Absolutely. GMS is probably the biggest truck team, and they just have so many tools and resources, and I feel like Chevy's engineers have been getting better, the simulator's been getting better, and everyone's just on the same page and working well together. I feel like when I first went over there last year, Johnny was winning a lot, but the other 3 trucks were just okay, right? And then me and Brett got pretty close last year, and just every week, just kind of hounded on them, especially Brett, just like, we need to be better, because he drove the 16 and he knew how good that was. He was like, we need to be better, we need to be better. And it took all last year. I feel like our trucks had speed, but not what they do right now, you know, and just the fab shop, trying things, building really good chassis, and then the guys in the shop just putting ideas together and executing, and yeah, just all starts in the shop for that. And you know, I can only go as fast as I can driving. Yeah, the truck has to go fast also. So yeah, the trucks have been incredibly fast this year, and yeah, that's at least 50% of it, you know.
We'll take a couple down here. We'll go Dominic and then Bob.
Dominic Ottagon with the Racing Experts. So when you look at this championship down the road and you're looking back on it, what are you going to remember most about 2020 and this championship fork battle tonight?
And honestly, probably tell myself to enjoy it more. I don't know, just at this level and being young and a kid still, you're trying to, you know, it's like we're in college right now, or just you're in class every day, and I'm racing against my teammates for rides, really. Zane's incredibly talented, Brett, everyone, and other kids on other teams. Just you're racing them for the next chance, right? There's very few cup rides open, and just racing for that opportunity and just giving my best every week.
Bob.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. How much of a different driver are you this year than you were last year? And Jeff had said that I don't want to say that you got a rude awakening last year, but that, you know, coming off of the ARCA title, that maybe you thought trucks was going to be a little bit easier than they were last season for you.
Absolutely. Came from ARCA, and I got away with a lot in ARCA. I felt like just you can drive the car sideways more underneath people, and the air's not as bad. And I feel like that's where I struggled the most, was racing around people and just being hot-headed, I guess, middle of the race, not making good decisions. So I feel like I'm not a different race car driver. I feel like I still am really aggressive and do a lot of the same things. I'm just smarter. think Lauren Ranier told me a few years ago, he's like, you can be fast whenever you want, but smart race car drivers win races. So just focused on that, on how can I outsmart everyone around me and outrace people.
All right, we'll go back to Zoom and go with Ashley McCubbin. Go ahead, Ashley.
Sheldon, congratulations on the championship. Looking at how much you've improved and changed as a driver over the years, what would be one piece of advice that you'd maybe offer yourself 5 years ago on kind of how you could progress in the future?
5 years ago, I might have been, I was racing asphalt. No, I wasn't even racing asphalt full time 5 years ago. So I would look back and tell myself to start racing late models and get into this stuff earlier, because I feel like I was behind a lot of people learning, and I was older than them. I'm older than Zane and Tyler and a lot of his kids. So I was just behind them, not racing late models and learning all this stuff. And just to watch film. I didn't really do any of that till last year. I just would show up to the racetrack and try to be fast. I didn't put any effort into it, and that's hard to understand as a kid. You're 17, 18 years old, and I was coming from off-road where that was just really natural to me. And coming this way it was a totally different world. So yeah, just try harder, absorb everything I could, and watch more film.
And what went into the decision to come down pit road, as that ultimately proved to be very pivotal in winning the championship?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like Jeff and I felt like that was the only opportunity. We weren't going to beat those guys on old tires, and getting new tires was at least getting us a fighting chance at it.
Perfect, thank you.
I'll take a couple more from Zoom. We'll start off with Stephen Toronto. Go ahead, Stephen.
Sheldon, when I think about your ARCA championship, you won that in pretty convincing fashion. You won 4 races. I think you had over a 400-point lead, had things secure well before the last race of the season, if I remember correctly. This year you won 5 races, but it came down to overtime restart. How would you compare your 2 championships in ARCA and the Truck Series? Sorry, lost my train of thought.
I mean, totally different. They're just totally different platforms on how ARCA's, every race through the whole season add points up, and then now you race to get into the top 10 and then make the top 8, and you're just racing for playoff points the first half of the year, and then it becomes about consistency. If you can't win in the playoffs, then you want to finish good, because as we've seen, it's taken people out recently. Like the 4 Cup car wins 9 races and just has a couple bad weeks. So it's really important, and it makes it a lot harder. We can't have bad weeks at the end of the season, and luckily we got those out, I feel like midway or beginning of the year. So way more nerve-wracking, way funner probably for the fans to watch, and just, man, makes everyone feel the pressure, which that part I like.
And you said post-race that you were going to drink a couple of cold beers tonight. Have you gotten started yet, and what's your drink of choice?
No, well, my team wasn't on top of this. They were not. I don't know where it's at. I don't have any. About a cookie. That's what I get. Got a cookie so far. So probably drink some cold Coors Lights.
I'll drink to that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll go back down to the media center to Alex. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, what type of cookie did you?
It was like a chocolate chip oatmeal or something.
Yeah, well, so one of my questions was just how you plan to celebrate, and then also what advice do you have, if any, for the next guys to run this track tomorrow and Sunday?
I'll start with the first one. How I plan to celebrate is we have like 20 camp spots out there with all friends, family, and cousins and everyone. So I'm just going to go party with them and probably play some bags. I love cornhole. So going to go do that. And then we're going to go to Lake Havasu with my guys. We have a vacation house there. So going to go there with all my guys tomorrow and show them some appreciation and hang out with them. But for guys that are racing tomorrow, obviously the VHT or the spray is ultra competitive once it comes in, and honestly, I don't like it once it does come in so aggressively like that, because it's really hard to pass once it does that. Once the tires wear out, so they'll figure it out. I mean, all of them are pretty good, and Xfinity will race a little different because they're so low downforce. So it'll be fun to watch, and yeah.
And we'll wrap it up with Marty Sakala. Go ahead, Marty.
Thank you very much. Mari Sakala with the Rock Sports Network. Sheldon, congratulations on this championship, man. Just to follow up on the PJ1, my question about that is how much of a factor was it throughout the middle of the race? Because I look at one point, it looked like Moffitt at a time was faster, but there were many times in the race he couldn't complete that pass because that PJ1 was activated.
Yeah, I mean, there at the beginning, we weren't really touching it. I was pretty free behind a 21. Then I jumped up there because usually it makes you tighter most places. So that's kind of why we were free, is because I figured it would come in and that would make us really good. And then Brett was in it. He'd be in it but out of it. And I feel like maybe he was too tight, but then he would be free at times also. So I don't know. I don't know what his truck balance was. But, yeah, you could play around with it, and you could put 2 tires in it or all 4, and I was playing with it too, because some laps it would change. But I get really free off of like center off of 1 and 2, probably the last half of the race. And I don't really know where it came from. Just weird there. But yeah, I mean, every week it's different, and there's different ways to use it to make your truck better, and it just depends what your balance is.
And then my second question is, throughout this media availability with you, you've really been preaching a lot of teamwork. How important was it in those final laps when that final caution came out? Because pretty much the majority of the race was all about driver and car, and then the caution came out, and then you got to rely on your pit crew for the tire change.
Yeah, and our pit crew's been awesome all year. They're from RCR, and they're really, really good. So I'm excited to have them back for next year. And yeah, just a good call from Jeff to come in and get 4 tires and make the adjustments he did. And then there was really no teamwork as far as teammates go there. That was everyone for themselves. But yeah, our team just executed really well at the end.
Thank you. Congratulations. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
All right, Sheldon. Well, congratulations. That's all the questions we have for you. Probably not the end of your night, though. Enjoy the rest of the media. Enjoy the party after. Congratulations on a great season. Okay, and that will wrap up our post-race availabilities. I'll see you back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern for NASCAR President Steve Phelps. We'll be here in the Media Center. And then again for the post-race for the ARCA West race and NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship race. Have a great night, everybody.